Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review will be Army of Thieves. Let's get into it. So, Army of Thieves is a prequel to Army of the Dead that came out a few months ago with Batista, and it highlights Ludwig, which was the quirky locksmith who unlocked the big safe where they went into the territory of the zombies to get the money out of the safe. But you find out they really wasn't. The intent wasn't to go get the money out of the safe. So now let's just go over the Briefcast. You had Rudy O'Fee as Karina. She's the IT of the group. Mathis, of course, that's Ludwig Dieter. Real name is Sebastian. Natalie Emanuel as Gwen. Stuart Martin as Brad Cage, and Gus Kahn as Rolf. Jonathan Cohen as Delacroix, which is the main detective trying to stop everything. So this is the prequel. So it starts off with Sebastian, who is once again is Ludwig, who is fond of this story of the man who made these famous vaults, and the vaults was handcrafted from scratch, and he put them all together. He had a story behind everything, and if you opened it, it could lock forever. So he made 3 of them. Well, he made 3 initially, and they got separated. And the last one, he locked away and put himself in. It went down in the sea, and I guess they later retrieved it. So he's been doing YouTube videos and pretty much putting them out there. No one's watching his videos, and finally he gets this message basically saying, if you want to put your theories to the test, show up to this particular site and say this name. And so he did, and he finds out that he's at a competition of people who trying to open up locks, and he pretty much had the niche, and he was able to not win the competition. And that's when he meets Gwen. You find out that Gwen comes from a rich family. She got bored pretty much and went out, and she's been Interpol been trying to get her because she's pretty much wanted for doing a bunch of different heists. And her time out there, she met a guy named Alexis, who's changed his name to Brad Cage, and he's part of the crew. I already mentioned Karina, who's the IT of the crew, and Rolf, who's the getaway driver. And so she recruits Sebastian, and basically they do their first heist, and that's the first vault. You go automatically see that he's fond of her. You don't really know if she's into him. Karina makes a hit on him, but Karina sees that he's into Gwen. But he then sees that Brad Cage is pretty much into Gwen as well. And so at one of their next heists, you see this heist number 2. Everything was going smooth, and at the end of the heist, Brad Cage got shot. And the plan was originally to ditch Sebastian, but he not to getting caught. So Cage could have helped him, but Cage pretty much threw him out the truck, and he had to run from the cops. So by this time, Interpol is getting hooked on him. They see who he is. They find out that he had these videos, and he's the connection. So Gwen wasn't feeling what Cage did, so she pretty much said, "Let me out." So she got out of the van, jumped out of the van. Karina followed her pretty much saying, you know, she put too much time in the last heist, so she with her 100% to follow through. And so they end up showing back up at Sebastian's house. He made it home. He didn't trust him, but they said pretty much like, what else you got to lose? He had a didn't job, nothing going on in life. He wanted to find purpose in life and just doing the same old routine in life. So he had to find his destiny. So he went along with the third heist. Third heist is working out good, but of course, Cage and Rolf is there to find out what's going on. And so Rolf pretty much told him, well, they got a GPS that's tracked to their phones. And that's how we can find out where they're going, because they got away with these last vault. Meanwhile, Karina is at the location doing her IT stuff, and she sees that their phones went live. And of course, when she blows her own cover looking for Cage and Rolf, and before they head out after Gwen and Sebastian. And so when Karina, she went to warn Gwen that Rolf and them was on their way to her, the cops stopped her, pretty much told her to give her information. If she didn't give any information, they pretty much everything gonna get pinned on her. She won't be able to help her brother. So you don't really know whether she gave up information, but obviously she did, because they were able to go exactly where Gwen and them was going. So you're kind of looking at it like, you thought that she was going, you know, have some creative plan, some contingency plan that threw them off, but it wasn't. So what happens is, after Sebastian opens the last vault, they come out after they get the money, and there is Cage and Rolf. And of course, Cage tried to use the gun, but Gwen had pulled the pin out of the gun so they wouldn't work, because she never trusted him that he would stay stable enough. However, she did have a gun that did work, and you find out through the course of the movie that she can fight. So she locks them both up against the truck. The cops are on their way, and her and Sebastian confess that they like each other. They get a kiss going on, and then they about to escape in the boat. Then finally the main detective shows up and basically tell them it's over. And she made a deal with the detective pretty much to since his main ambition was to get her, she pretty much said, just take me, let him go, he's innocent. And of course, Sebastian didn't want to go. She just told him, go ahead and go, and when I get out, we'll finish what we started or whatever. And so he didn't really want to go, but he ended up going, and he found inside of the boat that there were 3 passports for her, him, and Karina to go to the U.S. And so this is what leads him to the U.S., and that's how his name get changed to Ludwig Dieter. And it shows at the end of the movie where it shows where Batista comes into the locksmith office, talking to him about breaking into the vault. And so he was intrigued about that. Overall, it was a decent movie to watch. It wasn't so much about zombies like the first one was. You could see the zombie stuff happening on TV, but it wasn't happening where they was. This is basically about heists, of course, Army of the Thieves. And out of the 4-star rating system, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 4 stars. Decent enough, nothing over the top, wasn't really great, but it's just something to watch. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.